welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, then thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Jess and I am currently on a weight loss journey, obviously hoping to lose a little bit of weight. So, as some of you may know who have followed me for a little while, I have predominantly been following the Slimming World plan. In recent weeks, I have started calorie counting alongside Slimming World. Now, I have not completely stopped Slimming World. I still go to group, virtually, obviously. I still pay for group. I still count my sins and all that jazz, but I also count my calories alongside it. So, what I'm going to cover in this video is what is Slimming World and how does it work, how you can lose weight counting calories, how they work together. I'm going to be telling you a little bit about why I do both, not just one or the other, and then I'm also going to be telling you how I plan my week for doing both, basically. If you are interested in seeing what kind of meals that I do eat, then I do post everything on Instagram as well, so I will leave a screenshot here and also a link in the description below for where you can go and see that. If you do enjoy this video, then please give it a thumbs up and go and hit the subscribe button below, and if you want to be notified for when I upload next, then you can hit the bell as well. So without further ado, I'm just going to crack straight onto the video because I've got quite a lot to talk about here. Quick disclaimer before we start. I am not a dietitian, I am not a nutritionist, I am no way qualified to tell you what to do. This is just my experiences. This whole channel, everything that I do is just my experiences, what is working for me, what's not working for me. I'm not qualified to tell you anything. So it is your choice as to whether you decide to follow what I do or whether you decide to go to a proper dietitian and follow what they say. So first of all, why I started Slimming World. So back in January of 2019, I did the thing that everybody does on the 1st of January and make a New Year's resolution to lose weight. I have tried to lose weight multiple times in the past, through my teenage years, through my young adult years. I would like to still think that I am a young adult, but I'm not. I'm 27. I'm approaching 30 very fast. I tried calorie counting, I tried fad diets, I tried everything. So I thought I tried everything. I tried pretty much everything under the sun and nothing was working for me. It would work for short-term kind of goals, but then I would fall off the wagon and put it all back on and some. So I signed up to Slimming World. Back in 2019, there wasn't really too much bad press about Slimming World. I have noticed a few people kind of being anti-Slimming World, saying why they think it's wrong, etc. However, it is government backed and you can see the success stories from it all over the place. So it just works. So yeah, I joined up to Slimming World and I was very frustratingly half a pound off losing 3 stone and I fell off the wagon. Yeah, so when you join your Slimming World group, you are given a pack like this. This is the one that I got in 2000 is it? I don't know whether you get a new one, I can't remember. But basically it's a pack that basically guides you through Slimming World. It just gives you generally the basics of how it works, some references, some meal ideas. You get food diaries, you get obviously the part where you can fill in like your measurements and how much you weigh, etc., your goals. So this book that you receive is Be Delighted with Your First 6 Weeks, and this basically guides you through the first 6 weeks of your plan and just gets you kind of settled in to the Slimming World way of life, as it were. You know, you've got pages in here about your journey, what you want to achieve. It's just a little bit of a diary basically to help you through your first 6 weeks. You also get a book about food optimizing, and this basically gives examples and explains what free foods are, what your healthy A and B foods are, what your speed foods are, etc. But it does give you a limited list, so you do have to use the app to find out exactly for the others, and then you do get your charts in the back for putting your weight in and what your goals are. You've also got a book about body magic, which is essentially exercise, and how to achieve your goals if you're wanting to exercise alongside the plan. I've got Billy behind me. I'm not quite sure what he's wanting, but he's being very suspicious. Can I just say, the Beanie's double chocolate coffee is out of this world. And it's sin free. So I've just made a few notes on my iPad to reference, so if you do see me looking down, this is what I'm looking at. So how Slimming World works. So generally, Slimming World aims to promote the incorporation of healthy eating styles for a lifestyle change. So it tries to promote healthy patterns of eating so that you're not restricting yourself, and it is generally harder to stray because it is more of a lifestyle change. So it is not like a crash diet, this is like a lifestyle change. So they do have their different types of foods. So I'm just going to start off with free foods. So free foods are things like pasta, veg, rice, your meat, fruit, things like that. And it is generally food that is naturally filling and fibre full, so it leaves you feeling fuller for longer, so that you're feeling more satisfied throughout the day. So when it comes to a meal, you should aim to have 1/3 of your plate as speed food, and then the other 2/3 should be a mixture of 1/3 of two of the other ones. Obviously, a full list of free foods can be found on the Slimming World app and also on the Slimming World website, but you do have to be a member for this. There are also a lot of Facebook groups which you can join. I am a member of a lot of different Slimming World Facebook groups, which basically is just a giant community of people. I think one of the groups that I'm in has got like 250,000 people, and you can basically say, post a photo and ask the sin value of something. Obviously that isn't as instant as having the app, but that is the kind of thing that you would sacrifice in the fact that you're not paying to be on the plan. You then also have something called speed food, which makes you feel fuller for longer. They are majority fruit and vegetables, so your speed foods for fruit might be something like raspberries, strawberries, blueberries, things like that, and your vegetables are like carrots, broccoli, cauliflower, them sort of things. And Slimming World advises that you have 1/3 of your plate dedicated to speed food. So then if you think about the other 2/3 of your plate should then be free food or your sin food. So for example, you could have, say, this is probably the most boring meal, but it's all I can think of at the minute, and you could have maybe 1/3 of your plate chicken, 1/3 of your plate rice, and then the other 1/3 of your plate would be your speed food, so your veg. And that is just a standard meal. And then of course you have your sins. So Slimming World recommend you have between 5 and 15 sins. So sin food is generally the types of food that are the least nutrient dense. So the things which aren't really going to keep you full for long, but they taste nice essentially. You can still incorporate them into your meals, or you can choose to have them as a snack throughout the day. It is completely up to you, but they do recommend 5 to 15 sins per day. But you can also incorporate your sins into your meals to make them more satisfying as well. So depending on how you try to cook things, I think the other day I made a KFC style zinger burger fake away, and I used crushed chili heat wave Doritos to make the kind of crumb for that. Now obviously Doritos would be sinned, but they've made my meal so much tastier and make me think that I'm having a KFC. Maybe certain foods which are slightly higher in fat, like certain types of sausages, would be higher in sin than others. I think generally with most foods you can find a lower sin alternative too. So if you're worried about having to cut things out, that's not the aim of Slimming World. I would say 9 times out of 10 you can find a lower sin alternative to the same thing that you're wanting. So Slimming World also incorporates something called your healthy extras, which you are supposed to have daily, but you don't absolutely have to, but it is trying to get those nutrients into your diet. So you can have 2 healthy extra A's and 1 healthy extra B. Now a healthy extra A is generally your dairy food, so it's things like cheese, milk, and it's just basically getting your calcium in. And then your healthy B foods are things like oats, cereals, bread, things to get your fibre in for the day. So essentially what a Slimming World friendly ideal plate would look like would be 1/3 of your plate would be filled with speed food, so your vegetables, maybe fruit, it depends what meal you're having. The other 2/3 would be mostly your free foods, so maybe some pasta or chicken or something else on the free food list. And then of course you have your sins there, which you can incorporate into the meal as well. Slimming World also promotes something that they call Body Magic, which is essentially exercise. They do have a separate kind of plan which you can run alongside your eating plan. It just generally helps you build up your activity levels. So calorie counting is something that has been, I feel on social media at the minute that calorie counting is really being pushed at the minute, and being in a calorie deficit is the only way to lose weight. Now, so some of you might know that I have kind of been testing running calorie counting alongside Slimming World, just to make sure that I am within my calories and see kind of what is going on there. So how does a calorie deficit work? So there are loads and loads of websites which you can check, which you can see what your calorie deficit is. If you just pop into Google, calculate my calorie deficit, you put in some information such as your height, your weight, your age, etc., what your activity level is, and it will calculate how many calories you need to be eating to lose weight. As long as you stay within those calories, then you should expect to lose weight. So I generally find that calorie counting alongside Slimming World is the best option for me personally, just because I am aware of the fact that it can be different for each individual. It also is just keeping a lid on my kind of eating, making sure that I'm not overeating, undereating. Now I've generally found that, so I predominantly follow Slimming World, so I'm counting my sins, things. But then I also use an app called MyFitnessPal, which I put everything in as well. It's dead easy. You just use the barcode scanner and it'll tell you how many calories are in things. Pop that in, and I've generally found that I am not overeating anyway, because I kind of feel that social media at the minute is especially at the minute is really slamming Slimming World, saying that when you sin things it's a bad mindset, and the only way to lose weight is to be in a calorie deficit. I've actually seen one particular video saying that she eats KFC all the time, but it's fine because she's within her calories. And I get that, because I understand that, for example, you could eat a KFC meal which is 1,000 calories. My daily calorie intake is 1,400 calories, or that's what I aim for. Yes, I then have another 400 calories which I could play with to have another meal with if I wanted to. However, that KFC isn't going to keep me full. It's going to make me crave more salt, because that's generally what those types of foods do. And it's not a very healthy way of losing weight. Like, yes, I would probably lose weight if I were to eat a KFC and one other meal a day, but it's not healthy. Slimming World for me has kept me in this sort of mindset of how your plate should be set up. So having your 2/3 free food and your 1/3 speed food, so then it keeps you kind of your portions correctly balanced. But then the calorie counting side of things kind of makes me realise that sometimes I can have a little more in the day if I wanted to. So I think that for me personally, calorie counting is making sure that I'm not over or under eating, because I know it's quite easy to do on Slimming World. Whilst I've been calorie counting and following Slimming World, as long as I follow Slimming World properly, I am generally in a calorie deficit anyway. So from what I have seen from social media and people who are saying, you know, oh, you can eat plates and bucket loads of pasta and expect to still lose weight, no you won't, but they haven't read the plan clearly, and they don't understand how it works. Obviously they've looked at the fact that something is labelled a free food and then just ran away with it, and haven't really looked into what a free food actually is, and the fact that Slimming World promotes only having a certain amount of it. Moving on to how I generally plan my weeks. So I have recently been sent this lovely diary by the Busy Club, and what I do actually like about this is that the diary here, you can write down what you're having, but I like that it's got two little boxes here, and in here I tend to put what the sin value is and then what the calorie value is in the other side, just because obviously I'm tracking both and it makes it easier. So what I tend to do is I will meal plan my day, generally try to have around 300 calories for breakfast. I try to have a lower calorie lunch and a quite high calorie meal in the evening. Now that is just purely for the fact that I just eat anything that's not nailed down in the evening, so if I have a bigger meal then I am less likely to go and eat anything else. Another way that I try to keep things a little bit different and more exciting and try and keep me on track is that I try to plan in one meal per week, which is something completely new, completely different to what I've ever had before. So I'll go on Instagram, I'll go on Pinterest, I'll go just on the internet somewhere and have a look and see if there's something that I fancy, and I'll incorporate that into my week, so it's something different to look forward to and something to add to my general meal library, as it were. And just keep things a bit different so that I'm not getting bored of the food that I'm eating all the time. To summarise though, I think there is a lot of negativity going around about what diet plan to follow, how to lose weight, how you should be doing it, how you shouldn't be doing it. What I will say is have a look and see what suits you personally. If Slimming World works for you, stick to that. Don't be pressured into thinking that Slimming World is bad. Or we all have our own brains and we all know what works for us personally. You know, if you feel like Slimming World isn't working for you, or if you feel like Slimming World just isn't quite right for you personally, switch to something else. The same, if you find that calorie counting just isn't working for you, maybe just try Slimming World, maybe just try Weight Watchers. Because at the end of the day, losing weight is a lifestyle choice, it is not a fad diet, so you need to find something that is going to suit you for a lifetime, essentially. So just, like I say, just have a look around, see what you want to do, and go from there. Don't feel pressurised into what people are saying on the internet about what you should be doing, because ultimately, only you know what is best for you, so yeah. And that is my wise words. So I think that is everything covered. I really don't know whether I've covered it. I feel like I've done nothing but ramble for the last however long. I've currently got 45 minutes worth of footage So I'm really hoping that this video isn't 45 minutes long because, my God, you're gonna need a snack. So yeah, like I say, just find out what works for you and go from there. For me, calorie counting and Slimming World alongside each other works. Find somewhere to document it all, whether it's on an app, whether it's written down, whether it's just on a Word document, you know, somewhere like that. Whatever keeps you on track. I really hope that you enjoyed the video and I hope that it was informative. Maybe that you even learned a little something from it. I don't know. If you did enjoy it, then please give it a thumbs up and go and hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to be notified for when I upload next, then you can hit the bell as well. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in my next video.